So after doing my video on how, quote, good white people can still be racist, I got some really interesting feedback in regards to like this idea of how white people want to be an ally. And I want to help folks out, right? I really do truly want to help some folks out because to me, there's a distinction between being an ally. I'm going to split this up here, an ally, an advocate, and associate to the fight against white supremacy. Okay. And so, because just in case you haven't figured it out, folks, we are fighting against white supremacy. It is definitely reared its ugly head up yet again. And we have got to win this war this time around, or else really bad things are going to happen another 20 years in the future if we don't beat this thing down now. Right now is the time for us to do this. And so anyway, so then allies, advocates, associates. So let's start with associates. And so one of the people who I had thought of as an associate, right? And this is on the lower rung, right? Associates are people who will speak for the cause and whatnot, right? Speaking for the cause is different than advocating for the cause, right? It's like they'll speak and they'll say something, associates will, but advocates, they're going to go even just that much further, right? And so with associates, it's like, look, here's a father. There was a father that of a white supremacist at Charlottesville who denounced his son's vile actions, right? And I don't want to go into the names and whatnot. I just want to say, it's like, look, to me, this is associate level. Some people might put this at advocate level. I'm going to put this at associate level because, look, as the father, you got to own, and he did. He owned the fact that he actually raised his son. He said he didn't raise his son to be racist, but somehow that's what happened, and that's what and that's what he wants to denounce and whatnot. And I'm like, yo, that is a good step forward. Let's see how you keep on see if you keep on going in this space before I move you up in my charts, right? And it's like, look, if you don't care about my charts, so be it. But this is how I'm rolling. But anyway, and so then there was another. So here's to me, he advocate, and then he moved up to ally for me. Because to me, the difference between an advocate and an ally is that you got to put some skin in the game. Like you got to actually risk something to become an ally to me. Okay. And so an advocate, so here it was Robert E. Lee, a descendant of Robert E. Lee. I think it was Robert E. Lee the fourth. He actually gets called onto MTV and I think a few other spaces to where he got up and he was horrified on how his ancestor has become a symbol for white supremacy and how he was for racial justice and against white supremacy. And I was like, yo, man, you stepping on family, man. You stepping on your name. I could dig that. I'm there with you. That's advocate level. But then this is the part that happened next. And that he actually was forced to resign as a pastor of his church as a result of this. I think he was teaching in one of the Carolinas. I think it was North Carolina. But he was forced out, if you would. The article's a little bit confusing. I have it connected to the article or to this video, so check it out if you want. But that the people at his church, and I'm assuming that they're white people at his church, they were not happy that he was taking this anti-white supremacy stance at a church. Just saying, might want to think about that. I'm surprised he didn't leave earlier, but anyway, just saying that now he's moved at the advocate level for me, or to ally level for me, because he resigns, he walks away from his job. I'm sure he got a job someplace else really quickly. But just saying, you got to leave some, you got to put something on the line when you're willing to become my ally. And so if he wouldn't have did that part, if that last part didn't happen, then I would say he was an advocate, which people should be. You should be an advocate, but because he put something on his line, his job on the line, I'm saying he moves up to ally status, right? Another ally that I see is this dude, Eric Screen, I believe I'm saying his name right, the guy who turned down the Hellboy role because the original Hellboy is actually an Asian character and he's a white dude, and he's like, look, he got the role, and then he was like, you know what? Nah, I can't do this. There should be somebody playing this role who's Asian because that's the original character and all of this stuff. And just really goes in. And I'm like, yo, this dude walked away from money in order to do this? Yo, mad respect. you moved up to ally status for me. And then also, I mean, gave a very eloquent rationale is to this whitewashing that happens in Hollywood. And Hollywood really needs to figure something out. Is that, look, we live in a different age, y'all, that you surely can cast, you know, ethnically diverse characters, especially if their original characters are ethnically not white. You can do that in this day and age. You really can. It's okay, Hollywood. Try to do that. Anyway, and so then, look, and then the last person on my list, I mean, she is true ally, and that's Heather Heyer. I mean, she's a person that was on the front lines. She was the white woman who was killed in that car. Well, it wasn't even a car accident. That car assault, if you would, in Charlotte. And she really, I mean, she literally put her life on the line. And you know, and this is not, you know, I'm not trying to say this to make it seem like it's important for her to be on my ranking system or whatever. But for real, that's the kind of commitment that the world, not just the United States, but the world needs to end white supremacy. And not just from people of color, because people of color, we're the targets of white supremacy. We need white people to fight against white supremacy just as vehemently as people of color do, right? And when we do that, we will win this war this time around. But anyway, folks, like, subscribe, share. Go to brucehoskins.com if you want to learn more about who I am and what I do. Peace.